be taking our state board meeting to Western Maryland in October. So we'll be out there with Garrett County and Allegheny and Washington. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to try doing this on the road, and works well. We want to try to do that maybe a couple of times a year at least, just getting outside of Baltimore and being able to spend time with you and with our citizens in the counties to just better understand.
Yeah.
Better understand what's going on.
Thank you. Also coming our way in the early fall, I see as well, which is a very good idea.
Yes. Okay. Dr. Martirano?
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, I should say. Mike Martirano, Superintendent in Howard County, starting my 6th year as Superintendent in Howard County and a number of years as Superintendent in other places.
Thank you. Welcome, sir. And Dr. McKnight?
Good afternoon. Monifa McKnight, Superintendent for Montgomery County Public Schools. Thank you so much for hosting us today. It's great to be here. I am beginning my first full year as permanent superintendent, just completing my interim year, but of course, no stranger to Montgomery County as I started here as a 3rd-year teacher, and I'm excited for the conversation today. And again, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you much for everything. And Dr. Savine?
Good afternoon, Dave Savine, Superintendent in Washington County. This is my 12th year as superintendent, first year in Washington County and in Maryland. Prior to that, served for 11 years in Frederick County, Virginia, 32 years as an educator in Virginia. Just really appreciate this opportunity to engage with the board.
Thank you. Thank you. And then Dr. Stauffer?
Hi, good afternoon. Micah Stauffer. This is my first year as superintendent in Wycomico County Public Schools. Thank you all so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, what I'd like to do is just jump right in and just put the first set of questions out. And please feel free to just chime in. Again, your candor is what we're interested in. The first set of questions is really around the board. How are we doing? What's working well? What needs to improve? Please, again, feel free to be candid, and we learn from that, and then we can improve. So I'll just open it up with that question, and to anyone that would like to respond, please feel free to do so. My mother would not believe this. My mother would say that there's no way, I know this boy, there is no way that there aren't opportunities for improvement. So please.
Let me, I'll take the first bite of the apple. I'll get things started. Mike Martirano in Howard County. First of all, thank you to the state board members and our state superintendent for convening this gathering. This is one of the first times we've done this in quite a long time, to have both bodies together with the superintendents. And Mr. Crawford, I want to acknowledge your comments up front. I'm proud to be associated with the 24 superintendents in the state of Maryland who do the heavy lifting all day long to make this work happen. And I really want to give credit to that. As stated, I've been a superintendent for a number of years, 3 as state superintendent in West Virginia, 9 in St. Mary's, and 6 in Howard. And I say that not to boast, but to acknowledge the incredible need for communications in terms of anything from the state level, the need for the development of relationships. And you've acknowledged that in your comments, and state board members have said that to me personally as well, and professionally when I've talked to them individually. Now more than ever, I believe that the communications need to be enhanced as we're all engaging in the heavy lift around the implementation of the blueprint. And as we meet as superintendents every month, it's very wonderful to be able to get all 24 superintendents around the table and talk about these issues. As our state superintendent has said, we're going to get this right. And we enjoy the benefit of having 12 of us, and 24 of us in a small group, as opposed to other states that have an incredibly large number of superintendents. So for us to get it right, but all that is predicated on the fact of improved communications and ongoing communications and continual communications. Last night, I met with my delegation from Howard County in preparation for the legislative session, and lots of comments were associated with the blueprint and the challenges associated with the timeline, the funding associated with it to get it right. So I'm just priming the pump in terms of the conversations that I know are germane to the comments made from the superintendents. And I know that we just met on Friday, and many of the things which I'm advancing right now are consistent with our ongoing discussions. So the more we can communicate to know the nuances of the interplay between the AIB and the state board, the implementation between the preparation for the legislative session, and how we can all work tactically with the nuances of that to improve the education for the young people in the state of Maryland. So I'll end there, and I primed the pump to get everybody else going.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hey, well, thank you for that, sir. I'm new, so I will not have a whole bunch of input to offer today, more so than I wanted to come on and just learn as much as I can. But Mark Bedell from Anne Arundel County, and what I wanted to offer was as I was transitioning out of Kansas City, we had what was called Blueprint 2030. And I think there are a number of agenda items that we're discussing here with the blueprint that were very similar to some of the things that we were moving on. So when you ask this question of what can the state board do in helping to make all of this a reality, I've had a conversation with Superintendent Chowdhury on the phone, and I think we both agree. We both came from Texas, and I think there's opportunities there where we've done a lot of innovating. I think, but there's also this dismantling of traditional structures that I think gets in the way of us being able to do the work that we need to do. So if we are talking about becoming a much more agile, a much more flexible and responsive school district to our communities, then the rigidity has to be removed. And one of the things I shared in my first board meeting here, an example is transportation. Right? We know that these CDLs come at a premium, and in most cases, we're not able to compete with some of these other companies that are picking off our